Welcome into Titans Today. I am Tom Downey. Whoever comments the most on today's video will get a shout out on a future show. It's probably going to require at least 20 different comments from you guys individually to get that shout out. Simplest way to do it, just type me if you want that shout out. Let's begin with a potential breakout season for Titans quarterback Will Levis. USA Today listing Levis as the top breakout candidate for the Titans in the 2024 campaign. Here's the argument. Titans quarterback Will Levis entering a crucial season, and he's looking to prove he's the guy for the Titans in his second season. The Kentucky product showed some flashes in year one, but we also saw him struggle at times. Part of that was the normal rookie growing pains, but Levis also had a terrible supporting cast, one of the worst offensive lines in the sport, and a receiving core that had DeAndre Hopkins and nobody else. Looking ahead to this season, the Titans have beefed up both position groups in a big way, which puts Levis in a much better position to succeed. Adding to that, the Titans are moving to a more pass-heavy offense under new head coach Brian Callahan. If Levis can build on the good things he did in 2023, he's in a prime position to have a breakout campaign in 2024. I am glad that was the pick by USA Today /Titans Wire. Look, there are other viable options as a breakout candidate. I'm sure we'll talk about Tajay Spears at some point in the show, maybe an offensive lineman, some defensive pieces. But the quarterback is the easy pick. And I think that is still the correct pick because there's no player that you would rather have a breakout campaign than Will Levis. Nobody would have a better outcome for the Titans organization than Levis having a massive breakout season in year two. It answers so many different questions for the organization. Who's their guy? Is this who they're going to build around? What are their bigger needs entering next season? If Levis has that big breakout campaign, even if he doesn't become a top 10 quarterback in year two, but showcases the franchise quarterback traits Titans thought they had when they drafted him, takes a big step forward, and looks like he is the guy in Tennessee, that's a huge deal for the franchise and gives it the hype, the generation of positive buzz, all of it, a different sort of feel that Tennessee hasn't had in a couple of years, if not longer. So are you buying a Will Levis breakout campaign this year? I do want honest answers at the pinned comment of today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, just fine. Take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes or N for no. Now, part of a potential breakout campaign could be the mechanics change that ESPN broke down to Ron Davenport recently as the hopeful franchise QB Levis. Others look to maximize that outcome. Levis had this to say at minicamp. Quarterbacks are weirdos. I like this quote a lot from Will. We're always tweaking something, feeling like something might be off. The ball wasn't coming out the way I would have liked it to. I just started looking at what could possibly be the cause of it. Now, per ESPN, these are the tweaks being made. They're going to try to tighten up, they being Will Levis, quarterback coach, and the coaching staff in Tennessee, tightening the footwork in his drop, and taking a shorter first step before the ball comes out. Most of that goal, by the way, is to make the timing right. To get in what's going to be a sometimes ball out quickly offense, you need to have that back foot hit, ball out to the receiver at the right time. And the receiver needs to be in the right space. If the receiver is late getting there, going to lead to a probably an incomplete pass or worse. If the quarterback's late getting the ball out, it's going to lead to a bad thing. So that timing basis has to be proper in Tennessee, and I think the footwork change is a big deal for Levis, and as we'll get into, I think might help some accuracy issues too. Now, before we get to that, you can get the Will Levis jersey over at chatsports.com/Levis jersey. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. The link's going to take you to the Navy one. You can find the throwback one if you just type it in as well. So go to chatsports.com/Levis jersey. Link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. Here's what Titans head coach Brian Callahan said on the emphasis this offseason. One of the big things with Will is his base, how important that is to playing quarterback, being able to play on time, being able to get the ball out quickly. Meanwhile, quarterback coach Bo Hardigree had this to say. It's really for him just to tie in his lower body with the timing of the play and kind of learning what drops, what movements are required. Certain routes take a certain concept, so we're practicing it. Now, when Levis came out of Kentucky, I had this as one of my first negative notes from him in my draft guide, or in my draft notes we use here at Chat Sports. I noticed that he often, not always, but often, ran into accuracy issues when his back foot came up in his release. And I think that that could have been due to some overstriding. So one of the things they're working on, shorter first step before that ball comes out. You can keep that base a little bit more narrow, a little bit more compact, and allow you to keep that back foot down and kind of follow through the way most quarterbacks and quarterback trainers looking to do these days. This is not the first time a quarterback's had back foot issues come up in the past. That's been fairly common for young guys. Overstriding is common. You can go look at what J.J. McCarthy was doing. Massive overstrider as well coming out of Michigan. If you can narrow that first step, not as narrow as Lamar Jackson, I think that could lead to better accuracy and help the timing issues as well. Or not issues, but timing mastery as well. Now, we are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers here on Titans. Today, we are now inside of 700. Thank you all so much. Big next goal is that one. Help us get there. If you haven't already, hit that sub button, youtube.com/Titans today. All right, Treylon Burks, could he be cut? That's the idea from Bleacher Report. They listed him as a roster bubble and a cut candidate. Now, I would argue those are two different things, because someone being on the roster bubble via trade, or as Bleacher Report suggested, roster bubble via cut, are actually two pretty darn different outcomes. Before we get into this, what would you do with Treylon Burks? T for you'd trade him, K for you'd keep him, C for you'd rather cut him. Sound off in the comments section of today's video. T, K, or C. If you were Titans GM Ran Carthon, what would you do? I completely understand, and I'm frankly on board with either path if Tennessee wants to pursue it, the keep or the trade idea. Treylon Burks was a former first-round pick. There is the perceived talent, even if the impact has not been very good so far in Tennessee. He had a worse 2023 campaign after not looking the greatest player in 2022, but he was a first-round pick. There's talent there. But if you don't think it's ever going to happen, if you think he is at best wide receiver 4 behind Calvin Ridley, behind DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, maybe they think Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is a better fit. Maybe they don't think Burks can play special teams. I can get the trade in, because I do think you could find a trade partner for Burks. He's a first-round pick. Even if it's a late day 3 pick, it's something. Because of that, and not the only reason, I think it makes absolutely zero sense to cut Treylon Burks. It doesn't make a lick of sense from an organizational philosophy. First-round pick for nothing. I mean, Zach Wilson got a trade, right? Most importantly, it actually makes negative financial sense. Treylon Burks is due just under $4 million in 2024. It's not that much money. The Titans would save a little over half of it, $2.01 million, if they found a trade partner. If they cut Treylon Burks, they incur an additional $2.66 million in savings, because his base salary this year and next year are guaranteed, because he's a first-round pick, and those deals are fully guaranteed. Now, there might be some offset language to negate that a little bit. Maybe it brings it down to, like, you still lose only, $1.5 million. Why am I losing cap space? Doesn't make any sense to me. I would rather keep Burks and not play him at all and hope he develops as the year goes on than cut him and lose cap space. Plus, I got to pay somebody else $1 million to fill that roster spot. Doesn't make any sense at all for Tennessee.